if Posesi can clinch the 2-0 match score for this week, because his rogue, the weapon rogue, this is an archetype which we're in agreement is not as strong overall as Secret Rogue, but it can find those good spots. And Posesi's particular build is unique compared to any other that I've seen, with the Miscreant slotted in there, double hook Scimitar, and maybe a bit more of mid-game punch.
Yeah, exactly. He's got the Pharaoh Cats as well. The Miscreants is a lot less damage stacked into the deck, because we saw players go as far with Orange playing a list for a while that cut backstabs. It had Sinister Strikes, Captain Greenskin. It was just all in on the damage. You really did not care about board control very much at all, even cutting the Steel Dancers as well. Whereas Posesi is a much more board-focused approach, which has good and bad. I think it would be nice against the Druid, but he has banned that away. So questions do have to be asked. Either way, Demon Hunter up against the Bomb Warrior now, a matchup that I've been warming to more and more, but the stats that we saw at the start of the day definitely didn't seem to favor the Demon Hunter.
For sure, and yet again, we have a non-standard build from Posesi. He's running double Spectral Sights, which you don't often see in the lists nowadays. He does not, however, have Magtheridon nor Horde Villager, which seems to be just a matter of preference. But because he is committed to banning Druid, I like the fact that he's not running Magtheridon.
Yeah. I think so too. I think you just want to be going as lean as possible, try and stick board in the early game when you can, and then follow that up with the damage. Shaxy's build of Bomb Warrior, while we're in these slow early turns, is a fairly standard non-pirate version. He's managed to slot in a Plague of Wrath, which is, I guess, the weird inclusion in there, which probably won't be all too good in the matchup.
He's also got a Grom at the very top end there.
That's true.
It's different. That could catch Posesi off guard for sure. And, you know, right off the bat, Posesi had an awkward turn 1 because he top decked Spectral Outcast position, but were he to coin that out, the next turn was potentially pass or River Croc, so I like that he ultimately holds on to it. Gets rewarded with the Wand Maker off the top to make the curve a bit smoother, but that's like the gazillionth philosophy we've seen.
It really is. They're not very good at getting the good cards. We haven't seen a single Twin Slice, it feels like, in ages off of the Wand Maker. But I still think this is a very powerful hand from Posesi. He's got the curve, he's got so much card draw, he has no fear of running out of cards anytime soon. He just needs to be making sure he's converting it into the strongest play he can every single turn, which looks like a pretty clear Marrow Slicer Soul Shard to me.
It does indeed. For Shaxy though, he's also had, in other matchups, I want to say a very powerful hand, but this hand, which is proactive for him, tons of weapon swings into Dr. Boom, is not necessarily the way you want to approach it versus Demon Hunter. I feel like in the early game, you're still playing defense because they do curve out a bit more consistently than you do. And we can see Shaxy here is going to be committing a charge of the weapon to get rid of the 2-2. Holding onto these shield slams for the coming threats. Also holding onto Evil Quartermaster so that he has that plus armor up plus shield slam for either Lapidary or Gravebound.
Exactly. I think that's such a clever hold there from Shaxy. Most players would have just thrown that down instantly, but it gives him, against the expected play, the perfect clear. I think this is very smart.
I like it as well. You'd also be baited sometimes by going Bronx for the follow-up, so that's another reason to possibly throw down the Quartermaster, but I think Shaxy's correctly realizing he's still the defense in this matchup.
Absolutely. Shield block, not bad to find as well to get him another shield slam activation and a bit of extra health, of course. But the real game plan is next turn. That's what he is relying on to try and just sail through to a victory. And it's going to be close.
But it's... Oh, he's so close to dying, but Posesi's out of soul fragments at the moment, so that's a very big deal. Right. He can still go Soul Shear, Coin, Lapidary, put Shaxy down to 13, and if it's just Boom... Is there just lethal? Okay, wait, he's not going Lapidary. Huh.
Well, I thought he was going to go Warblade's Hero Power Swing. That's the most damage he can squeeze out over 2 turns, right? But he wants to save the 2 damage.
I thought he was going to coin Lapidary. I like that.
Wow.
5-5 on board, the 5 damage. Doesn't that threaten lethal with Twin Slice?
Strange.
He's just been playing super fast.
Yeah. I mean, this is like lightning fast Hearthstone on both sides.
I mean, he can still go Lapidary this turn. It's still a great a decent setup, right? Lapidary, Hero
Yeah.
Power, Twin Slice. I guess you're a little bit short of immediate lethal, so he's going for card draw instead. But my point last turn was Lapidary on that board. You very possibly connect for it with 5 as the minion.
Very possibly.
Oh, that's so much damage though. You hold everything because you don't want to draw the soul fragments by accident.
I guess there's not necessarily much reason to play them out here. Like, you get more healing immediately if you're afraid of dying, which is kind of the thing.
Yeah, it is a pretty big thing. And he can still just coin Twin Slice Hero Power here, and you can still go Lapidary, Glaive Bound, Twin Slice on the next. Did he just? Oh, he's going Glaive Bound.
Yeah, it's obviously less overall damage because you miss out on the hero power, but you get a body on board, which is pretty good. You know, it does.
Yeah.
It soaks up some damage.
Yeah, messes with the boombots a little bit, and in the case where Shaxy has further armor gain, then at least you have a body on board to try and get more damage through.
Ooh, we like that card.
He needs healing though.
I mean, from his perspective, I think the approach might just be pray that they don't have the damage right and just try and go for counter-lethal.
It's true. He did just see most of the skull discount cards already.
Yeah. I mean, he may just win right now as well. You got to bear that in mind. This is a chance to just win.
3 bombs in the deck. Very unlikely, but the chance is there. Nah, no way. No way.
Nah, no way.
And that's lethal.
Yep.
Twin Slice, Lapidary Hero Power at 12 by my count.
Yes, I believe you are correct. Able to close out the first game. A very nice win by Posesi. I think those mid-game turns, if we want to start talking about like absolute ways to squeeze out the most damage possible, there were some lines that Posesi could have taken to get that tiny bit of extra damage through by getting more hero powers in, maybe going for the swing with the Warblade a little bit earlier. But to be fair to him, he did get all the damage with the Warblade through. If he swung the turn he equipped it, it wasn't necessarily setting up 2-turn lethal. So I'm not going to be too critical of the play there from Posesi. I think it was overall very strong understanding of the matchup.
Yeah. He was obviously at the end there by saving all the charges on the Eldraki, trying to maximize his healing. You and I were of the opinion that he was in a spot where he didn't even need to care because he was just that far ahead. But there were certain hands that Shaxy could have had that would punish our lines. Let's say Shaxy had second shield block, second Evil Quartermaster, and then Posesi not having a board or not having extra healing would be a bit painful. So that is one deck out of the way for him, which I feel like had a pretty good matchup across Shaxy's lineup, but I'm more excited really for this Weapon Rogue.
Oh, that's going to be the big one here, I think, for Posesi. Like you said, with the Warrior taking a loss there, it's a big deal. He gets to again have, like you were saying, that soft to medium target on the Bomb Warrior again with his own Druid, waiting to take a pretty nice matchup, especially the build even. I mean, like, it's pretty heavy there with double survival, Kael'thas, Omu, a lot of beef in that deck that he can start throwing down. And of course, we know the power of Weapon Rogue against Warrior. I wouldn't be surprised if Shaxy just wants to keep running it up back to back, but he is going to be instead getting himself at least one good matchup here with the Rogue against the Druid.
Sorry, you said soft to medium, and then you said beef, and I'm just thinking about eating steak. And I will finish my dinner even if we go late today, Dark.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be
not steak though.
Yeah, not sitting down with the family tonight, AG. A long day of work for you.
Okay. Full toss for Posesi immediately, and I would imagine the same for Shaxy. Oh, keep Shadow stuff. I see.
Yeah, I mean, it's the card. If you want to find Edwin or questing, you get such a ridiculous amount of buffage with it. And it's not bad on its own with just Cult Neophyte here, to be fair.
Sure. Oh, but Posesi's hand, it does the thing that messes with Neophyte again, where you just go, whoops, I played my Overgrowth before you can play Neophyte. This is just so clean.
Yeah.
Pass into Innervate Guardian.
Yeah, it's insane. It is insane. It's like it's the kind of hand where Shaxy can potentially disrupt not the overgrowth turn, but the guardian animals turn. If he plays the cult
Right.
neophyte into turn 7, it's still very powerful. You know, he does have some strong plays here for sure.
And we're already seeing it. The fact that he didn't play Neophyte
Mhm.
this turn, he's just going for a Wand Thief play. All of these legendaries are pretty interesting. They're all playable in Standard at the moment.
The evolving missiles is insane as well to be able to chew through
Yeah.
those beasts. But what?
Posesi! The god!
What an absolute lad. Hello? I mean, you play it now, right? I know you don't expect them to have guardian animals, but at the same time, you just do.
And if this were a Lightning Bloom instead of an Overgrowth,
Mm.
but it's not. You know what? It's still a good turn.
Yes, it's still a very good Hearthstone turn. Shaxy can deny it again, potentially, with Neophyte, Step, Neophyte.
And still fit in the devolving missiles.
Yeah.
Oh, but I'm super interested in looking for Edwin now. He can
Yes.
step the current Neophyte
That's
after
funny.
it attacks face. Coin, yeah, coin passage. Oh my gosh, this could be a huge Edwin.
Oh, it's risky, but if you hit it, you just win. You have to go for it, right?
Yeah. I would 100% go for that.
Oh. Okay. I'm on board. I agree. Let's go for the passage.
Oh, but the thing is, if you only step your Neophyte once, it doesn't deny the guardian animals. Going into turn 8.
So
So
step your wand maker, right? Oh, he's holding back.
yeah. Or there was also an option of play the other Neophyte and step that.
Yeah.
But just gonna go for it another day.
It was so unlikely to hit the Edwin. Like, the line we were going for was the opposite of consistency, but you're already losing this game. You're very far behind. Maybe the best line is just to pray they don't have guardian animals.
That's fair. You did see a full toss at the beginning. I'm just a high roller gamer when I play
know you
Rogue.
are.
I just try to be as optimistic as possible.
This is so
Breath?
disgusting.
I like the breath because it's card drop post Ysera.
I think I like swipe. I appreciate your point, but I just want removal with this hand. I want to make sure I'm not dying to some huge questing or Edwin.
Okay. I think he's still fine though because he gets to play Anubisoth next turn.
Right.
I mean this turn.
Time waits for no one.
Any juicy Raz available here?
No spell
Many
damage.
taunts
So
in the way.
yeah, it just doesn't work out, does it?
Was it coin passage?
Neophyte step, neophyte coin passage. I guess you can step this instead, but I do like leading up to a passage here.
Fish for secret maybe? Counter spells
Oh,
somewhat relevant. It's just to activate the stunner really.
I know, but
'Cause I don't think he can let the Twilight Runner attack anymore.
what does that even do though? He just plays it next turn and you're still losing.
That's true. Develop a 1-2 and a coined Neophyte, that's not very much.
Mhm.
Yeah, everything sucks.
Everything is awful. Uh-huh.
But maybe you hit the Edwin.
Uh-huh. Oh,
Oh,
go again! Go again! Go!
one more shot. Yeah, Vendetta. Ah, I don't have words. Sorry, that's another Wing Guardian. I got PTSD.
Alright, fair enough.
Yeah, with the amount of time he had, that was probably the right play to go for in the end.
Agreed.
But I would have, if I had 20 more seconds, would have gone for the second patcher.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's unlikely, but you're unlikely to win the game at this point.
And here, Ysera Broom, is that necessary? Even just Ysera probably wins you the game, right?
Just Ysera wins, Runic Carvings Broom wins, so you don't overload for the true genius play. Yeah, this seems good. I like saving the broomstick because, like, it's not necessary here, and it might be necessary with the dragons later on.
Possibly. I feel like Counterspell has lost its utility by this point, so I'm thinking Neophyte Miscreant and the Lackey.
I wonder.
It's like I'm kind of losing sight of what's even good or bad anymore. Like, is Stunner on the Ysera even good? It's like, not really.
No, it's not. That's why I didn't want to play Counterspell this turn.
Yeah.
You just let him replay it for 10 mana, and he has 7 more dragons in his deck. In the end, he goes for Miscreant, which probably fine, but now he doesn't have an activator for the Stunner necessarily.
Yeah, test for the counterspell, get the runic carvings down. A 5 mana 8/8.
Now he doesn't have board space for the dragons. Misplay!
Indeed.
Uh,
Secret Passage off of Ethereal Lackey. Discover spell damage? Is that a thing that's ever possible?
if he had a Wand Thief, Primordial Studies, that would have been super sick.
Right.
Just a Raz play as Rogue. But
Yeah,
no
there's
such
just not
luck.
enough mana. Even if
I
he
think
got,
he just-
like... Even Pilfer doesn't do it, right?
I don't think so. I think it's just drop the Wing Guardian, maybe.
Sure.
That on board, but what are you gonna do?
From nothing.
Alright, we're gonna see what's in the box. Clever Disguise.
Clever Disguise.
Yeah.
That can get Primordial Studies.
Let's find the miracle.
Too soon.
I don't think I'm thinking big enough. Random spells from another class.
Say it, Gia. Say the line.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Puzzle box of Yogg-Saron, but that's not it.
Sweeping Strikes. Not much synergy with that. It doesn't work with Raz's end of turn effect, I don't think, sadly, for like multiple combining effects. Oh!
Both Yseras.
Okay, all 7 portals, and maybe we can start talking about a chance. Okay.
Nope. Gets the perfect amount because Posesi is a pro. So, Shaxy plays 1 ambush, 1 plagiarize, 2 dirty
Whoa!
tricks.
Gidra Sweeping Strikes? Is that illegal? That's pretty illegal, right? Gidra Koa Sweeping Strikes? You get a 4 attack guy?
That's yeah.
It's
I mean,
cool.
it's gonna be cool. Yeah, for sure. We've been starved for cool lines today after Blitzchung was being reasonable. Can you imagine?
Maybe if he can generate a Cold Blood? I don't think that's possible with the mana available, but that would be cool as well.
I don't even know if Posesi had to play out a minion there.
Yep. I don't think
I
so
would
either.
rather them not have Gidra swipe
Me too.
or Gidra whatever.
I get
Do it, Shaxy. Oh!
No,
Come on!
No! It was so cool. You still lost, but it was so cool.
Yep. That is going to be Posesi taking win number 2 hit on the Druid. Still, the hard deck for Shaxy is still yet to be won with, even on the Warrior, and he has to now 3-0 sweep the Rogue left behind with his own classes of Demon Hunter, Rogue, and Warrior. It's not going to be easy at all, but definitely doable. I think that the Weapon Rogue arguably has a bad matchup against the Demon Hunter, like an even one against the Rogue, and then a good one against the Warrior, if we want to kind of generalize it a little bit. Still, obviously, Posesi massively in the lead, but I'm not going to call Shaxy out quite yet. He's done some miracle runs before.
For sure. I'm honestly not aware of the actual numbers of Weapon Rogue versus Demon Hunter. It's just going off of instinct that I feel like Demon Hunter should be a bit favored because they do have healing to go over the top of Rogue on top of racing them and probably more consistent ways of developing boards. So as for Shaxy, it looks like he will be queuing up that particular matchup first. And his build is looking to be very well placed against Posesi. He has double ooze in there.
Double Ooze is a really gorgeous kicker. In addition to everything else you were saying, you know, the Eldraki Warblades for heal is fantastic. The counter aggression is very, very strong because as soon as you have one minion on board as Demon Hunter, Weapon Rogue does not want to kill minions on board. It wants to ignore everything it possibly can and weapon goes face every single turn. But as Demon Hunter, you can force them to clear off your Lapidary, your Glavebound, your Kane, just because otherwise they will die to the counter pressure. So I think, as you pointed out, Shaxy's gone with the best matchup first of all here and is trying to just get a single win on the table for pride's sake, if nothing else.
Just confuses me as to Shaxy's choice to ban Posesi's Warrior, because why run Ooze in the Demon Hunter in that case? But maybe he was just trying to shore up the matchup against other Demon Hunters or even Weapon Rogue if that were to happen. He is running Polkelt in the list, which is not one that you often see. It's taking the place of Magtheridon here, and he's cut a Glavebound and the flex spot for Consume Magic for the double oozes.
Crazy powerful starting hand though here for Posesi. Spy Mistress, Coin, Scimitar, I guess, maybe to get the activation. With Backstab, you have a little bit more room to play. And then obviously the nutty Greyheart Sage to fill up your hand.
I'm interested in Greyheart first because,
Sure.
you know, getting board initiative, and on the next turn, you are very likely to have a Backstab target as the activator for Scimitar. But with this draw...
Okay, how about now? Come on, we like that
Yeah.
tempo 3-3.
Yeah. I like it. This is a 3-3 body on top of the weapon, but I still favor keeping this stealth because you're going to follow up with Greyheart Sage next turn.
I agree as well. You are afraid...
I'm swinging every time because of Ooze.
Yeah, you're not really afraid of anything, right? He hasn't played the Jailer, so there's not even the possibility of Shard Shatter. You're just safe.
True. And for Shaxy, this is awkward as all hell because Soul Shear messes up the mana feeder that he wanted to do this turn. Eldraki is pretty lackluster on the next turn as well, and you kind of don't want to pull Kelt in this matchup. You want to hit your cheap stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you want the Soul Shards as well, right? You want to draw those so that you can actually heal.
Oh, Posesi's follow-up! Sword, Deadly Poison. Yep.
Shaxy's kind of dead right now. Okay, to be fair, he has Soul Fragments in the deck. He has Warblades on this turn. He has Soul Shard to follow up. That's 7 heal next turn, 3 heal this turn. Just 10 life. Created out of nowhere. That's pretty powerful.
The big one. And Posesi is still concerned about oozes at any point in the game. The self-sharpening is probably still certainly coming down next turn with the Deadly Poison, but he won't feel safe about it. Ooh. You're gonna hit, then equip the Eldraki. I love the order.
Smart, that's smart.
Doesn't need to heal just yet. Oh, he's holding off?
Oh! Okay, that's kind of a dead card. I think it's fair to say you don't want to be playing that.
This is kind of a weird 50-50 where Deadly Poison is much more immediate damage, but he holds onto it in case there's a ooze, I suppose. So you can put the poison on the dagger.
Yeah, I think it's partially ooze, and also just the fact that there's the potential for a huge amount of life gain here. Like, you're almost never setting up 2-turn lethal, I think it's fair to say.
But I think the poison is actually just more pressure than the cat, because it's potentially
fair point.
8 extra damage.
That's true.
Lapidary face, I would have to imagine.
Yeah, you'd have to think so with the Blade Dance in hand.
I grow impatient.
The alternative, of course, being Hero Power Panthara Blade Dance if you just want to deny all damage right now. But you're afraid of Krastinov, Jandis, the big 5-drop plays, I think, here. Ooh.
Wow, he trades.
Great news for Posesi, my goodness.
Yeah. Surely he commits the ooze, the Deadly Poison now.
You'd think so.
His hand is not giving him room to play around ooze. he doesn't have Secret Passage, nor the big heavy-hitting minions like Krasunov and Jandis, as you said. Not even the Miscreants that he's running. So I think you just play to them not necessarily having the ooze. Eviscerate, maybe.
Yeah, I think Eviscerate is either going face or being saved here. I really don't want to see this committed to the minion. Ooh.
I was thinking he sended face because all of his good top decks spend more mana than you can play with Eviscerate at this point.
Yeah,
Except
okay.
exactly cut Seal Dancer, I would say. Like you want Passage, you want Jandis, Krasunov.
That's true. I agree. I think if it could very well have just come down that turn because...
Like if it's not hitting a minion now, it's never hitting a minion because Demon Hunter just doesn't play taunts. So. Blade Dance. Heal for 3 is lackluster, but Shaxy is. He doesn't have Twin Slice in hand, is the thing.
You can get some extra healing off Skull. I think it's really close as to whether you heal here. Like, obviously Skull isn't outcastable for a little while, and you don't want to play Polkelt here, but it's very specific cards that you're dying to, especially when you know it's only one real card in your opponent's hand.
It's fair.
Oh! It's close.
The fact that he hasn't seen Ooze altogether is still super huge for Posesi.
Up to no good. Me too.
Evolve?
Is that better than Taunt?
Is he scared of dying at 21?
I think it's just buying him extra time more so than dying next turn, right? Because he possibly doesn't have lethal next turn, so he needs to scrounge another turn together.
But my goodness, Shaxy's draw does not give him additional healing nor a way to deal with the weapon.
He's got...
And the Skull for no outcast, the best he can get is a Twin Slice and some fragments.
Right.
Demons.
There are... Wait. My deck tracker is not updated. Sorry. 1 fragment on the deck only.
Right. And I think, honestly, before you're going for that, you're just going trade Shard Shatter Hero Power. Like, it feels awful. Or maybe Shard Shatter plus Kane, because you need to clear this damage off the board. This 3-1 is killing you. Even if you find a Twin Slice, it's still just offset by the damage on board. Yeah.
Yep. You've sold me on it. That will mean that Posesi gets to close out the game, the series.
I can't believe it. It's been match after match of grueling Game 5 slugfests. But here, Posesi, his luck turning around from 0-2 in Division B. Defeat setting in. And almost willing to surrender right there. He turns things around. Another 3-0 sweep here. And he's up to 3-2. Posesi looking like he's getting safer and safer for another season of Grandmasters after this one.
And honestly, I'm quite happy to see it. I feel like Posesi is one of our strongest competitors. And even though he is one of the most enigmatic when it comes to his posting on social media, I still find him very relatable. Because when he gets upset at the game, I see myself in that. Sometimes you play your best, you bring a good lineup and things just don't go your way. But finally, law of averages is working out for him. And Shaxy also in a decent spot at 3-2.
I mean, I find him extremely relatable. Our producer was saying that before we went live on his cams, he was literally just wheeling around his room on his chair, which, you know what? Same. That is a very, very relatable moment there from Posesi. He apparently can't even stay put again. Whether he wins or loses, he is just instantly up and out of his chair. I don't know what he's got to do that involves leaving so quickly. But either way, 3-0 sweep, looking in a good spot, and a